What's going on, guys? Welcome back to our Let's Play here on the Bedrock edition. We're having another change of scenery today. We're back over here at our Guardian farm, and as you can probably tell, there is a complete lack of Guardian spawning. Now this is after me being AFK for a night. So what I've been doing gradually is every other night I'll leave my guy AFK over here, start building up the sea lanterns, which I've been sort of going round in circles around this place trying to light it up, preventing the drown from spawning. And it does prevent them for the majority, but you do still get quite a few of them spawning on the outer edges and wandering their way in. Now initially I thought after a night AFK in that the drown had obviously taken up the spawn cap. And that is there a down? Yeah, look, there's one just down there now, and that entire area is lit up, so they are just gradually sort of working their way in. Now, I thought that was taking up the spawn cap of our Guardians, where I was obviously here for so long that eventually the spawn cap was filled up, and that was just stopping the Guardians from spawning. Then I'd unload and reload the area by going through our nether portal just over there. And yeah, so that's what I thought it was, until I sort of decided to do a little bit of investigating using the X-Ray Seeders pack on the PC. So I joined my game on there, checked underneath the ground to see where the drowned all were, to see if there was any areas that I hadn't lit up. And if I can do it, I'll do a little picture-on-picture at the moment right now. And as you can see, what we're actually getting is Guardians building up underneath the actual farm. Now, I lit up the entire underneath of the farm with sea lanterns first of all, and that didn't prevent them from spawning down there. So then I changed out all the sea lanterns for glowstone, and that doesn't seem to have stopped them spawning down there. So besides draining out all of the caves just to completely prevent Guardians from spawning, I honestly had no idea what to do with it. So in today's episode, we are going to be doing a complete and utter overhaul on the Guardian farm. As in, we're just going to be tearing it down and starting it again from scratch because, well, I'd prefer to have this farm active because sea lanterns do come in handy, and there's quite a few future builds that I can see myself using them in. As well as the prismarine used for conjures, but that's not a real expense. I've got probably more than enough prismarine to cover me for any projects that I'm going to be using it in, because I don't really like the texture of it too much. So yeah, to enable for us to get this entire thing done in one episode, it's going to be quite jump cutty, unfortunately, as in I'm going to have to get a lot of progress done off camera. Okay, yeah, as I was saying, it's going to be a little bit jump cutty, and that jump cut was a little bit unintended purely because someone started banging on my door and I had to go answer it. And the dog was going nuts in the background, so yeah, sort of had to make a quick cut there. But what I actually want to do is tear this thing down from underneath first of all, because I really don't want to lose the, I think it's a good, at least nearly 1,000 bits of powered rail that we've got running underneath here. And we've got an entire run of hoppers running along here, and I think we've got 3 runs of redstone. Is that a guard? Yeah, see, there's Guardians even spawning down here, which is not good. Which is one of the main reasons this whole thing needs to be torn down and redesigned. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of redstone blocks that I actually want to get back. Look, guy, you're going to have to get lost because I can't be asked to deal with you. Thank you. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear it down from underneath here. I'm actually going to dig this entire thing down to bedrock, just so that we've got a completely level playing field. Now that's probably going to take me a day or two to do, so I'm not too sure how soon this episode is going to come out. I may do an episode in between working on this, because it is going to take me a while to dig out. We're at, what is it, level about 35, and we need to dig it down to, I think it's Y level 5. So it's 30 layers of an entire ocean monument size, which is thousands and thousands upon thousands of blocks. My god, words are a bit of a struggle for me at the moment. But yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get cracking working on this, start tearing it down, and I'll bring you back once we've got a sort of completely cleared out area to start working on. So yeah, I guess I'll catch you back in a day or two. Alright then guys, it's actually a day or two later now. So I'm not too sure where I exactly left off. I think I was leaving it off as in I was digging it out. But I've managed to dig it all the way down to Bedrock. I thought I'd just drink a quick potion of night vision so you can see that the entire thing now is dug out. It got to the point where I got fed up of having to actually keep all the blocks on me. So I ended up just started keeping the blocks that were important. So you've got all the random rubbish that I was getting hold of. And then we have got a bunch of our powered rail. I started keeping all of the obsidian because there was massive lava lakes down there. We've got our redstone blocks back, and we've got our magma blocks back, which is going to be useful for a future enderman farm. What other blocks did we keep? We've got all of our mine carts, our hoppers back. More of our powered rail there. A ton more. See how much powered rail it is to actually cover the entire floor of Notion Monument. It's insane. And I was wondering where all of my gold went. So we've got a ton of obsidian as well in there. We also got quite a few of the diamonds. I got one another of these cheaty water blocks from mining the gravel very quickly when it's underwater. But yeah, we've got an absolute ton of diamond ore. We've got a few diamonds, an absolute ton of obsidian, and a lot more obsidian and other random garbage. But there's one unfortunate thing, like I've dug it all out, and even though it's now just bedrock, I thought that nothing could spawn on bedrock, and yet still the drown are managing to spawn in here. There's also another weird thing, like for some reason, sometimes when I'm down here, the guardians weren't attacking me, although that they are now, and this guy with his trident's going to absolutely kill me. But yeah, I've run into a situation now where we've got the drowned still spawning, which means I'm going to have to try to light up all of the bedrock floor in order to prevent them from spawning, because as you can see, that one is literally just spawned down below on the bedrock, and I think that's really stupid that it's like no other mobs can spawn on bedrock floor. The guardians are spawning in the water, which is understandable, but the drowned usually need a solid block to spawn on, and yet they're still managing to spawn down here at bedrock. See, there's another one. Which means I'm going to have to go around and light up all of the bedrock floor. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that, but before I crack on and do that, I'm going to show you in my sort of copied creative world of this to how I found the exact spawning spots. Now I'm going to be using, is it Foxy Notail or Notail Foxy? I'm trying to remember his name now. I think it's Foxy Notail. I'll have to double check it before the next cut, but I'm using his technique with the command blocks in finding the actual spawning spots. Because we were getting guardians spawning everywhere before, because our entire base floor was made of prismarine, which is how comes they were spawning so low down. So I'm going to hop over into my red zone test world and I'll show you exactly how I've managed to find every single spawning spot for the guardians. So yeah, here we go. We're over here in my redstone test, well not my redstone test world, already getting it wrong. This is a creative copy of a world that I've made after having dug out the entire ocean monument area. Now, all of the orange concrete is where the guardian spawns are. Now, if you want to know how to do this using the command blocks, I'm going to put a link down to Foxy Notails video. And it is 100% Foxy Notail. I double checked before starting recording this clip. So, yeah, I've got the command codes that he used to sort of kill everything in the area, then kill the guardians and replace with concrete. If you watch the video, he will explain it a lot more in depth, then I'm going to go through it quickly. So the first command block that we've got, that will kill everything but the guardians. Then the second one here is the guardian field command, so it will basically be wherever there is a guardian, it will then replace, well, it will then fill that spot with concrete, and it will be orange concrete. And then the next one along that is a chain command, which will then kill that guardian that spawns. Now, if you're doing it on the Xbox, prepare for some serious lag. If you're doing it on a decent PC, it's not too bad. I'm running this off the Xbox at the moment, so I can show you exactly what I mean by the lag. It's that is it, killing everything. Now, there is a command block to get rid of that constant screen there, but I'm not bothering running it because it doesn't seem to affect it. But for some reason, after running it for about 4 or 5 minutes, the area becomes just insanely laggy for me. But it's actually not running too bad now that I'm recording, which is a weird instance, to be honest with you. But yeah, what that is going to be doing is that whenever Guardian spawns, it will kill it and then replace it with orange concrete. Now, the first ones that instantly showed up were the 25 marks where I actually thought that they were going to be, because Foxy Notail goes in depth, and without Prismarine present within the Ocean Monument bounding box, there is 25 exact spots where Guardians will first try to be spawned. So if we turn all of this off, because that little screen on my left is doing my nothing. But there's one thing that Foxy Notail didn't indicate, is that once these 25 spots are actually filled with orange concrete, if you leave it running for a good 15-20 minutes, what I've started to notice is that it will then start trying to spawn Guardians from the lowest point. It will be on the exact same X and Z coordinates, but it will then try to spawn it on the lowest Y coordinate possible. And then this is where the orange concrete along the bottom next to the bedrock is now decided to generate. And I was watching it for a good while, like, to get this much orange concrete down, the first thing they tried to do is constantly try to spawn a Guardian on this point until this point became completely filled with orange concrete. Now, the orange concrete is blocking the actual spawning point for the Guardian. So where it's failing to spawn one there, it's then going to the next available spot. But if you wanted to follow his tutorial, then you can get just as an efficient farm as the one that I'm going to be making by just doing his sort of design. And you can have it as just an AFK farm to collect the drops by not having nether portals there and just having killing chambers, which is what I'm going to be doing because I don't need the XP. I've got the Pentaspawner as an XP farm on mine. But we've already gone out and dug the entire thing down to Bedrock, so I'm going to be utilising the entire space from Bedrock up to the surface. Otherwise, I've just wasted like 2 days of my time digging it out. But yeah, if you're wondering, the most efficient sort of easily set up Guardian farm, especially cross with an XP farm, check out Foxy Notails video. It's extremely handy. This is the first time I've ever used command blocks. Like, when I came on, I didn't even know how to get a command block. I was going into the inventory selector here and I couldn't see it anywhere in here, and I was like, how the heck do I get a command block? It's like, does it have to be on a Windows edition? But no, all it is that you just sort of type in here, and then I think it's like /give, and then you just give the ID of the thing, which is just, I think it's command_block, and then that will give you the command block, and then you can place it down, and then each one's got its particular command input. You have to make sure that it's either need redstone, repeat on the selections. But like I said, check out Foxy Notails video on it. He goes into it a lot more in depth than I've got the time to, and I'm not going to take credit where he's done the hard work and me claim to have done all of this myself. I followed his instructions exactly. He showed, well, I had to sort of pause his videos. I'm going to leave a comment on his videos for him to hopefully put the actual command lines into the details. So that way you're able just to copy and paste the commands to your command block. So then it's a lot easier for you to find out the spawning locations for the Guardians. But that's enough of this Jazz anyway, and I'm gonna hop back over to our Let's Play and actually start building the farm, because if I don't get cracking on it now, then this video's not going to come out for like 2 weeks. And yeah, I really want to get this sort of farm done and dusted, because it's a complete overhaul of it. So yeah, I'm going to hop back over to our Let's World and I'll join you over there. Right, so I'm not sure, did I just end that last clip by saying hop back over to our Let's World? I'm fairly sure that's what I may have said when I meant our Let's Play. Yeah. Just to show you the sort of amount of work that went into clearing this out, one of these actually has... Actually, I need some soul sand on me as well. Yeah. This... I actually went back. I only had 5, I believe 5 mending and efficiency 5 pickaxes when I first started digging it out. And then it got to the point where I was so fed up of having to run back and forth from our pentaspawner to repair my tools. I ended up just making an absolute ton more. I've used up all of my mending books, all of my Silk Touch books, which is very cheap. They're only like 7 emeralds each. The Fortune 3 I haven't got so many of, but all of these have mending efficiency 5 on. I've got no more efficiency books whatsoever. So yeah, that's how many I've gone through at the end to finally get done, and these are the only 2 picks that I actually have left before I need to go on another repairing run. But the plan with this farm is, if I can find them, where did I put my magma blocks? Up here, there we go. And then we are also going to need some, there's always junk just floating outside of the edge here where I keep on breaking stuff. I'm going to need some glass, and then we're also going to need some stone bricks, because I'm not going to make the mistake of using prismarine in the actual build itself, because wherever you place prismarine within it is allows for guardians to be able to spawn on that point, and we actually want to confine them to the points where they are at the moment. So let me just grab some stone bricks. Now down here what I've done is, oh yeah, by the way, as you can see, I've spent all of my emeralds on books and glowstone. Now I went through here and I lit it all up with glowstone. You can see how much glowstone there is, and still the drowned were spawning. So then I chose to go a proper tedious route, and I just half slabbed the entire bottom of it, and that has finally prevented the drowned from spawning down here, which is good, I guess, but it took it was just proper tedious and grindy to figure it out. After I spent ages lighting it up, and I was thinking, oh, there's probably a dark spot here and there where they're spawning, and yeah, that wasn't the case. It was just a case where I think they're spawning so broken, it's just a joke. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is, and the only way that I've managed to stop them from spawning down here is by half slabbing the entire bottom floor of it. But yeah, nevertheless, the farm design that we're going to be going for is that what we're going to want is actually get some stone bricks on us. And we're going to want to come out in a little bit of a star shape. So if we do one of them, not that, one of these, one of them, just fill in these little corner bits. And if I don't get rid of that block, it's going to bother me, so there we go. And then just to make our job easier, I'm going to put a magma block there, and then we're going to want to come up in the corners with just normal stone. So I'm going to quickly do that. Okay, so after that we've got the 4 stone brick columns in place. Let me just grab some night vision back again. That the magma block is there purely to help me get down a lot quicker, because what we're then going to want to do is do 4 columns of glass. Now this doesn't have to be glass or stone bricks. If you want to use this design, feel free to, and just build it out of whatever material. Just don't build it out of prismarine, because that would allow guardians to be able to spawn in these places. But yeah, I'm just going for the glass and stone bricks on this one. So what I'm going to do is bring up each of the sides with glass. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, now that we've got all of the glass in place, the plan is that we're going to get rid of this magma block now, because we're not planning on sucking the guardians down in this farm. We actually want to be shooting them upwards instead. So we're going to want to knock out these 4 spots either side of the center spot. Because guardians in Bedrock Edition can't spawn within bubble columns, this entire center column we're going to leave as just solid blocks of water, yep. And then we're going to want the 4 sides, oh, not you, so grab you back, do that, and then this one should knock us up. So then we're going to want the 4 columns either side of it, which will hopefully, fingers crossed, that this design works. I've not actually tested it out. Should knock the guardians up to the surface, where we're going to kill them off in separate kill chambers. Now we've got 25 of them, because as you can see we've got 25 spawning spaces which were shown to us their exact locations in our test world using the command blocks. And I've sort of just written down the coordinates, marked them all out in my Let's Play world. And so, yeah, There we go. So what we're going to want to do is when the guardians get knocked up, we're going to wash them onto magma blocks, hopefully. And then they should get killed off as quick as possible on the magma blocks, allowing spots for them to be able to spawn again. Which is the main aim for this, is to get as much efficiency out of it as drop-wise as we can. So we're not going to be shuffling the guardians off to a central kill chamber. We're going to be wanting to kill them pretty much as quick as we can. A lava blade will probably be quicker than magma blocks, but I really don't want to go playing around with 25 lots of different lava around water, because I really don't fancy dealing with all the obsidian and the mess that I can make of it. So we're going to go with magma blocks, yeah, and hopefully wash all the items into a central collection stream, which will then hopefully feed directly to the elevator, saving us having to sort out a new storage system. But I've got 24 more of these columns to go ahead and build, which is another one of the grindy little tasks. But yeah, I'm going to crack on with that, and I'll bring you back once they're all in place. Alright then guys, so it actually took a lot longer than I anticipated to get all of these things in place, and that was purely because it took a lot more glass than I anticipated it to. It took 3 additional trips back and forth to the desert to get sand, to then smelt back at base, to then bring over here to actually build the columns. Each column was using about just under 4 stacks of glass. So yeah, and there's 25 of these columns. Now just to test it out here, what I have been doing is I've just been switching it from peaceful to hard, just to make sure that the bubble columns are working to push the actual guardians up to the top. And yeah, as you can see, instantly one popped up over there. There's another one popping up over there. There's another one just over there. We should have, I think it's like a maximum of 7 to 8 that can spawn at any one point. So yeah, they're all sort of popping up and working just fine, which I'm very happy about, because I was very sort of worried that this might not work, and there seems to be more than anticipated spawning at the moment. So yeah, the plan now is that I've got the magma blocks there where I'm going to want the water to push them. So what we're going to be wanting is a system pretty much like that, and then we're going to want this to come across like so, and then across like so. Oh, ouch, ouch. And then we're going to want the glass to wrap around the back here. I'm hoping that I've got enough glass, because I do not want to have to do another trip back and forth to the desert again. It takes so long. It's not a case that it takes long to get the amount of sand. Like, I'm going back and forth and getting about a double chest at a time by just filling up a couple of the shulker boxes, but to then have to go back to base and wait the 10-15 minutes for the glass to smelt, to then have to travel all the way back over here, it becomes a little bit of a chore. So our plan is that if they're dying there, we're then going to want our, let's just put you there for a second, we're going to want our water streams running along here, funneling all the items over to our elevator, which is just over here. So we can probably just cut directly into the elevator. Now I'm going to have to obviously run glass around the packed dice streams, and then to stop the water from travelling, ouch, so ouch, stop it, we're going to need some half slabs. Can we get some half slabs? Just so I can give you a quick demonstration of my hopes and dreams. Half slabs. Thank you. Let's hop back over to here. Redstone dust, get out of my inventory. Now, let me see. Ouch. How can we do this before we die? So if the water streams are going there, I'm going to absolutely wreck my armor doing this by the looks of it. If we hop and just crouch, there we go. So, thank you. If we just place like 3 half slabs going across the top here, we can have water streams running along the packed ice after we clear out the solid still water from it. to have it running underneath, and then the water should be stopped from flowing outside. Oh my god, would you stop getting hurt? So if we then have, say, block these off from there, can we just get a little bit of height to make this easier on ourselves? And we should have a bucket. And then if we run water off going like that, and then water going that way, you can then break these. The guardians will then get popped up from the bubble streams from the soul sand down below, pushed onto the magma blocks, then the magma blocks will kill them. Their drops will then get carried into the water just like the soul sand did, and onto our packed ice waterways, which will then all be leading over to our item elevator. That is the hopes and dreams of it. I'm just hoping that it does work, but by the looks of it, from how the guardians were spawning when I'm switching it from peaceful to hard, I'm going to have to obviously do longer tests on it than that once it's all done and dusted. But what I'm going to do is, now that you can see exactly pretty much what I'm going to have to do for another 24 more times once again, the repetitiveness of this project is beyond me. It's like started to proper grind me down. I'm having to take a good 2-3 hour breaks and play different games in between doing bits and pieces on this. Because first of all, it was digging it out, and that took a very, very long time. And then it was building all of the columns, that took forever. And now it's going to be building the waterways, which is, it's just extremely repetitive compared to the sort of playstyle that I enjoy, where everything I do is slightly bit different. But I did not want to go and just copy, I keep on forgetting his name, Foxy Notails, there we go. I didn't want to go ahead and just copy his design, because where's the fun in that? I honestly don't see the fun in just copy pasting someone else's design completely. And I quite like the idea of seeing all the guardians pop up while I'm sort of just leaving it AFK on the screen next to me. See them pop up, die, and then see all the drops come flowing through. Should be a good sight. But yeah, I'm going to crack on and get all of that done. And hopefully, by this next jump cut, it should all be done and dusted and all running, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So yeah, here we go. Alright then guys, so it is finally done and dusted. Job done, over with, completed. Couple of issues. Once again, you learn stuff as you build in this game. Now, after building all of the waterways, and the guardians are spawning fine by the way, and I've left it running for a good like 20 minutes, half hour already. So they're sort of like popping up, they die on the magma blocks. I am getting fish stuck in these waterways. Where is that fish noise coming from? It's over here. I don't know where that fish is. I know that there's one stuck somewhere in a waterway. But yeah, they're coming up and they're dying, as you can see by the little red sort of marks where they are popping up and dying from. I did end up having to cover all of our waterways which are carrying our items with glass, because rather than having to light them all up, what was happening is I was actually getting drowned spawning in the waterways because they weren't lit up enough. So I've just covered everything with glass, to be honest with you. I did actually have to go and do another desert run to get the glass, but it seems to be working out pretty well. Like, all of the items seem to be coming down just fine, as you can see. Like, these ones go zipping along now, and then they'll run all the way over to our item elevator, and then they will then shoot up and go into our sorting system, which should provide us with more than enough sea lanterns that we'll ever need. Now, as you can see, the maximum I seem to be getting at the moment is around about 7 to 8 of them, and that is pretty consistent, because as you can see, as long as it's more than 24 blocks away from the player, they can spawn, and which means obviously none are going to be spawning directly next to me. But yeah, they're spawning in all their pods, they're shooting up, they're getting killed on the magma blocks. It's all happy days there. What I am tempted to try out though is, I don't know if the guardian spawns are affected by the normal spawning mechanics. As in, I'm not too sure if guardians have their own spawn cap, or if they are counted in towards the cave and surface spawn caps. but that's going to have to be tested in between episodes, because unfortunately we are running very low on time now. It's been very jump cutty, it's been a very big project that I've had to get done, and I'm quite glad in the amount of time that I've managed to get it done in. It has taken a total play time of about 2 to 3 days worth of me playing to get this sort of job done. But what I'm going to do is probably cover every other one of these. Not the entire thing. What I'll probably do, have I got any blocks on me? No, I have not, obviously, because that would be far too prepared for me. What I am planning on doing is we can actually use prismarine for this. So let's just grab some shards, make these into some bricks, and then fall back in the water, because why not? What I am planning on doing is just to test it out. To see if it increases the rates, what I may do is just cover every other one of them, because they're only going to be spawning in the center spot there, that we can get rid of that one and that one. Oh no, I don't want to go into the system. This is great. How to get out? Have I got ender pearls? It's the first time I've not got ender pearls. Is this a silk touch? Yes, it is. Thank you. And then put that back. Yeah, so if I cover this with a block, then if there is a such thing as cave spawns for the guardians, that any guardians that spawn in this spot here will be classed as a cave spawn. And then as soon as they get pushed up, then they'll be counted as a surface spawn once they're pushed out and got sky access. Which means, hopefully, if I do that, if they are counted in the cave and surface spawn ratio, that we can probably double our spawn limit, because the standard spawn limits, I believe it is 8 for surface spawns and 16 for total cave spawns. Now, I've spent a lot of time lighting up the area using the sea lanterns that I had already beforehand, and I've spent quite a lot of time lighting up all of the caves with glowstone and sea lanterns. Like when I ran out of the sea lanterns, I went to the clerics and just bought a load of glowstone, which is how comes you're seeing glowstone here, because you don't want to go using anything that contains prismarine. So no normal prismarine, no dark prismarine, no prismarine blocks, brick blocks, there we go. No prismarine brick blocks, and no prismarine lamps, because wherever you place them is then a possible spawning spot for guardians. And we want to contain the spawning spots for directly these tubes that we've got, which is all 25, and they seem to be spawning fairly well. These guys are going to die before they shoot me. Oh, no, he got me. Sucker. Okay, yeah, but that's going to do it for me today. It's quite a fairly decent farm. The rate seems to be quite consistent, actually. There's not a point where I've not had at least 4 of them dying at any one point. So I'll keep an eye on this over the next couple of days, and there's the fish that's stuck, that's been making all the noise, and there's another one. Should I put in like a random magma block here and there? Like, where is it that they're going to end up exactly? Are they just going to stay there? They don't affect items getting through, do they? Oh my god, look, we've got another 2 fish there. It doesn't seem like they're going to stop the items from flying through, so it's just going to be something that I'm probably going to have to try to find a fix for. But yeah, that's going to do it for me today, and I'll keep an eye on this over the next few days, see if I can't increase the rates by putting some blocks over them. I'll punch you in the face. Oh no, I've fallen in again. Uh-oh. And I've not got my silk touch pick. There we go. Yep, let me get out of here so then I can actually say goodbye in a proper manner without falling back in. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully it's not been too all over the place and not too jump cutty for you. And I'll hopefully see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.